Hampton, Pangbourne, Eton, Shipley, Abingdon. Attention.
The silver medalist in J15 V8 this year, King's Worcester. The J15 A8, the Founders Cup, the winner. Pangbourne College.
Thanks, sir.
Good push. The second.
Come on, tennies!
of the Queen Elizabeth Queen Mother's Cup for Championship Boys 8s are Pangbourne College. They're receiving their gold medals from none other than Gwynbank, who won a silver medal in Sydney. And I think this is unique. It's the first time that Pangbourne have had their name on the trophy. And the trophy is named by kind permission of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth, Queen Mother, the late Queen Elizabeth, Queen Mother. It's always been presented to the winners of the Boys' Championship 8s. The trophy is going to be presented this year by the chairman of the regatta, who is Peter Politzer, and there is a certain connection here because, of course, Peter is the long-time, sometimes successful coach from Pangbourne College. So, winners of the Championship Boys 8s, Pangbourne College.
And this week, the Royal Regatta gets underway at Henley. As usual, there'll be a mix of social extravagance and sporting determination. One young crew have already laid down their marker for the regatta by becoming national schools champions. They represent a college with a long nautical tradition. For decades, Pangbourne produced seafarers. Now this group are among rowing's respected teams. After becoming national schools champions at Nottingham in May, they're all set for Henley.
The English-British schools are all very fast, and they're not far away from us, but we do go in as the fastest British school. And there are overseas entries too, and they don't come here if they're going to mess around, so they're going to be quick as well, and they don't want to get an early flight back across the Atlantic, that's for certain.
Attention, go.
In comparison with most of their rivals, Pangbourne, with 370 pupils, is small, but they've prepared well.
We only have 1 day off a week, so 6 days training every week. We don't get drunk that much, which is a kind of shame, considering all the rest of our friends are out at the weekends, and we'll have to train really hard.
Cox Josh Connick is just 14.
A bit nervous, but I think I'll catch on pretty quick.
But the majority of the 8 will leave Pangbourne this term for fresh challenges, some tougher than others.
Well, as I'm German, I'll go off to the Mountaineers in the German army on the very day after the Henley finals.
A couple of things that I think went not so well, and that was in the starts.
There's no arrogance here, just determination from a group who'll compete in the Princess Elizabeth Cup, which Pangbourne won at Henley 10 years ago, and they still hold a course record.
It's always nice for any athlete to say they've had a Henley medal. There are very few given out each year, and it's a very special moment. It'll certainly be a very special moment for them.
Go.
We're not just about rowing here, we're also about making sure that they get the academic side right, and I think the 9 guys who are in the boat have got that balance really spot on. Some of them have certainly got the physiology and engines to get that far. Watch the space for some of them, definitely.
People flock to the banks of the River Thames today for day 3 of the Henley Royal Regatta. This weekend, all eyes will be on the Olympic gold medalists James Cracknell and Matthew Pinsent. But today, spectators were treated to some sights in the skies as well as on the water. Kerry Johnston reports.
A flypast by 2 tornadoes recently returned from duty in the Gulf commemorated the RAF's victory in the Thames and Wyfeld Challenge Cups here at Henley in 1953. American and Union flags were raised as the 2 planes jetted over Henley Bridge. Back on the water, Olympians James Cracknell and Matthew Pinsent are looking forward to tomorrow's semi-finals in the Silver Goblets after a comfortable victory over Furnival Sailing Club. Their Henley-based Leander Club colleagues also go through to the semi-finals of the Ladies' Challenge Plate, which features men despite its name. Victory too for Pangbourne College in the 8s against Abingdon, the crew that started as one of the favourites in the Princess Elizabeth Challenge Cup.
Quicker than expected, really, I think. But that's how we wanted to race, and that's how.
So into the semi-finals tomorrow, what does all this mean for Pangbourne, the club?
Well, it's something pretty amazing, because Pangbourne hasn't got past Friday for 8 years, I think. So, and the whole school is talking about us, and even for us, it's really amazing to be here.
The guys rode really well, very pleased. It's quite a it's quite a pressure environment, and today, you know, the race before Cracknell and Pinsent, and you know, all the atmosphere, the stands are full, and they raced really well. Yeah, they rode really well. I'm very pleased.
Time then for a bit of relaxation for those who've made it through the day. But there'll be no swanning around once the rowing begins in earnest in tomorrow's semi-finals.
Massive crowds flocked this afternoon as the Royal Regatta continued on the River Thames. Students from Pangbourne College shared the limelight with Britain's top oarsmen. From the regatta, Chris Morn sends this report.
The penultimate day, and again thousands flocked towards the riverbank. Summer outfits had been acquired or dusted off for this unique event in the sporting and social calendar. They ran up a flag, and just as they've answered their country's call on so many occasions, Britain's best oarsmen swatted away a challenge from South African rivals to reach tomorrow's final in the Silver Goblets event. On home water, in front of home fans, this was good. But tomorrow's final promises a cracking duel as Matthew Pinsent and James Cracknell attempt to avenge the defeat they suffered against a Croatian pair earlier this season.
I think it's important for the British crews to have a strong showing here. I mean, of course, some people have prioritised racing in Europe, and I can understand it. But for us personally, this is something special. I mean, we wouldn't miss this.
It's the most like rowing in a stadium you can get because the crowds line the course from the start to the finish. Whereas internationally, you only have them in the last 300 metres, so you row almost 1,700 metres of silence, and then you hear a cheer. Whereas here, it's right from the start. Although too many cheers for South Africa today, I thought.
Some are here to relax, and there's nostalgia too. In 1963, Westminster School won the Princess Elizabeth Cup. The crew reunited on the water. 40 years on, Pangbourne College rowed impressively into tomorrow's final in this eights event. The Berkshire-based students defeated American rivals.
It's nothing we've experienced before, so I think we're all enjoying the experience and the atmosphere.
College are absolutely buzzing at the moment. It's Founders' Day today. Everybody's excited to hear the news. It's already been relayed back on the parade ground. So everything to go for tomorrow, yes.
And those racing tomorrow are there on merit. There'll be fireworks over Henley tonight, and then the regatta is set for a rousing conclusion with 19 finals tomorrow.
They won the Princess Elizabeth Cup, and they won it in style. Pangbourne College beat St Edward's by just 2/3 of a length in the premier international rowing competition for school crews. And when it was over, a hero's welcome by the banks of the Thames. They'd already proved they were the fastest school in Britain, having won the Championship 8s at the National Schools Regatta. Now they've gone one step further, seeing off stiff competition from the USA, Canada, Germany and Ireland.
It's undescribable. It's the greatest thing I've ever achieved and our crew have ever achieved. And it's something that's going to stick with us for, you know, it's going to be with us the rest of our lives, undoubtedly.
I can't describe how proud it makes me feel. It's just unbelievable. I don't think any of us have ever done anything in our lives that makes us more proud. It's one of the best things is to make the school feel proud as well and repay everything that we've got from the school as well.
And for the fourth time in the school's history, the names of a Pangbourne 8 and their cocks would be inscribed on a silver trophy at the Henley Royal Regatta. But first, there was time for an impromptu celebration.